Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of what's going on in Corpus Christi, Texas. And what I'm doing, my producer is Janelle Bennett. This is October 29th, 2017, a magnificent day outside. This airs on Channel 10 Public Access on Grande and whatever the Time Warner used to be, Spectrum I think it is now, and AT&T on 99. So you can tune in and find that. If you need to email me, it's gsansing@gmail.com. And please let me know what's going on. Like I say, air times are 9 o'clock p.m. on a Monday night and Wednesday night at 10 p.m. So tune in. Also get it on YouTube. Go to Gerald Sansing, and you can get the editions of this, plus South Texas News and Reviews, and the voices of Ed Bennett, all in one place. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on my cul-de-sac here in Corpus Christi, Texas. I've been told in newspapers and on the news around here that we've got all the trash picked up from, and limbs and so forth from Hurricane Harvey. I don't know how they missed this street and a bunch of surrounding out here. I live on Chevy Chase Drive. I don't mind admitting that. But anyway, this is what we've got, and you know, it's terrible over here. I'm going to pan around. That's my next door neighbor. Well, that's my limbs and his next door neighbor. And then down the street here you can see the piles and masses of stuff over here. I won't bother to zoom in on it. And then as we come around, there's another house there with a whole big pile of stuff out front. And then we've got neighbors here. You can see there's an old tabletop and stuff that was damaged during the storm and so forth and so on. And then this gentleman here has a small pile in front of his house here. And then this is the gentleman that's got a whole wall of it down the front of his. And that was all storm damage and so forth and so on. He was told by the city that he must have added some of that to it, that they've already picked up this. So I'm going to pan in a little bit closer to that. I think he's got some lights up there with for Halloween. So it may be until Halloween of 2030 before they get this done, and then you can see the piles on down the street. Okay, and I wiggled that a little bit too much, but all the way down the street on both sides. And there's a gentleman trying to walk his dog, which is a real chore around here. And then he's the one that asked me if I was the fellow that had the sign in my front yard that looks a lot like that. And I said, yes, I sure do. I'm dead serious with that, folks. My ancestors spent too many days and nights in wars and so forth and so on since the big one back in the 1700s. It was called the Revolutionary War. Both sides of my family fought on that one. And up until just recently, members of my family, both sides of my family, both the Yankees and the Texans, and have fought for my right to stand here and say this. But this is a real mess, folks. But I really want to go back over here to this one across the street. And this is the neighbor that was told that he had put this stuff out, obviously, and that this was new stuff. Okay. Now, I don't know why the city insists on telling untruths like this. I guess that's tied to the fact that they think they can get away with it. And I'm going to talk about Mr. Risley or Risley, whatever our esteemed attorney, city attorney is known as these days. But, you know, I'm just tired of it, folks. And I don't mind saying anything about it. Sue me, fire me. I don't give a rat's butt what they do to me. Okay? But I'm sick and tired of this mess. And, you know, Mayor McCombs and city council members, if you can't do any better than this for the constituents, I wish you'd just get out of Dodge. Just give it up, go home, and you know, go make some more money for your friends and neighbors and so forth. But let's don't do it at taxpayers' expense. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is across my alleyway, just a few steps away from me. It's a fairly narrow alleyway, but those bags have been sitting there. My poor neighbors had to dance around those for months now. It seems like it's been a lot of weeks. Those were the result of the hurricane. Okay, all the leaves that blew out and everything else around here. But can we pick it up? No. And I fussed about this. This is what I have to dance around so I don't bust a tire. Every time I come up and down the alleyway, you can see that piece of curbing over there that's all buckled up. I've complained about that for months and years. nothing's been done, as you can see. And then if I go down my alley, this stuff that's down there and my neighbors, those were things that were there from the hurricane. They haven't been done. And then I've got this pile of wood that I've just generated. I'm going to pull out a little bit on this. I lost a fence out here, and I don't know how many months and so forth this is going to be sitting here. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and I see all these boards everywhere. Now, I've been told by the city and through the news media and so forth that they're working on all of that. And then I've got a line down that none of the utilities people want to worry about off of that pole that's been hanging down there. I finally just threw it over my fence to get it out of the street and out of my driveway, and I did have some brush piled up there that I hope that one of these centuries they will pick up. But this is it, folks. I mean, this is just wonderful. So I'm particularly thrilled with that curb right there. I'm going to zero in on that again. So, you know, first time I go ahead and have to go get another tire because I hit the edge of this thing, I'll just zoom in on it for you. See, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Huh? That's Corpus Christi, Texas. So anyway, you can't get anything done around this town unless you scream and yell. I am the president of the Taxpayers Association. I'm going to go in and give you the results of our general membership meeting from yesterday, and there were a lot of subjects that were brought up, and people are getting madder and madder, folks. So that's the only way you can do it. And remember what Joe O'Brien said, the founder essentially of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association: silence is not the answer, and I'm not a silent person. Anyway, I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, lights on, cameras rolling apparently, and the timer's going for a change. So I hope we can keep it up with this. It's looking pretty good this evening. Okay. Again, my name is Jerry Sansing. I am the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association, and this is what's going on in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I gave you the air dates up there and so forth a while ago. Now, and I'll reiterate that at the end of the show. Now, we had a meeting, meaning the Taxpayers Association General Membership, yesterday on the 29th of October, Saturday at the Silverado Smokehouse, and we invited some people to come and talk to us about some various factors that are very pertinent around here, particularly taxpayers and just people in general, insurance and so forth and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and recap some of that went on, and you know, this is going to be a fast show for me, but anyway. Some of the topics we talked to were building contractors in the city adding fees to them. Okay, now in particular, not necessarily the building contractors, but the people that come in and have to take a roof off and put a new one on because of Hurricane Harvey. Okay, now I invited a guest over here. He had sent me some information. Actually, it was one of my former students. Her father owns a roofing company around here. I'm not advertising that, and I probably won't even mention it. If I do, it's not for advertising purposes. It's just that I was posed with the information that the city is starting to add fees on to the roofers in order to have them go out and dispose of the old roofing materials and stuff that they take off the roof before they put the new one on. Okay? So there's a person that works for that roofing company, Mr. Mike Robinson, and he came over and he was rather concerned, I guess, more than concerned. But here's what's happening with the city, okay? And I don't understand it, and it reflects back on the taxpayers essentially. And I thought I had a copy of that email that she had sent me, but I'll just paraphrase it. Okay, what's happened, folks, is the city said that some 13, 14, 15 years ago that an ordinance was passed indicating that the city could attach a fee to the companies that were disposing of the old materials off the roofs. Now, this particular company and several others I know take their materials out to a private landfill. But it says that they're going to pay a fee for this. It was somewhere $200 to $500 depending on the size of the roof and the house and so forth. And they had to pay the city when they got a permit to rebuild it, or reinstitute, rebuild the roof. Okay? Now, why all of a sudden are we doing this in the middle of a hurricane when people are suffering anyway? Okay? I guess it's, my personal view is the city's trying to swindle the insurance companies and the landowners around here, property owners, into providing more money that they can squander and do nothing with. Okay? I mean, this city doesn't do diddly in a timely manner with the money they've got. So what he did is he went down and asked through Public Information Act request for the information on that. So it's under the Solid Waste Department. Okay. Now I have a hard time thinking that if a roofer takes the roof off and at his expense goes out and pays a private landfill to take that material, then why should we pay the landfill here in Corpus Christi, Texas? Why would Solid Waste Department have any interest in that? I guess it's the same thing when I pay a water bill, and this one sticks in my craw, and I'm going to get to the back of it, and I want explanations, which the city does not like to give, by the way, folks. Okay, but when I had my last water bill, my water charge itself, I live alone. Okay, I'm a widower. My children have moved out. I do take a shower every morning, don't get me wrong, and I brush my teeth and I run water and I take my shower and so forth and so on, and I run so many loads of dishwasher material through. It's not many because I don't generate that much. And then I do my my clothes in the washing machine and so forth. Now my total water charge for the month was $13.13. Okay? That means I guess I'm frugal. I don't just sit there and let water run down the drain, and I haven't had to water the plants here lately at all, and the lawn. But my wastewater to dispose of that $13.13 worth of water was $127 and some odd cents. Okay? It's a rip-off, folks. You people out there are being ripped off, and I don't mind telling you that the city needs to be straightened up. And it may be in the form of lawsuits. It may be recall requests, and petitions for these council members and the mayor that won't do anything about it. And they've got these city managers and all these city workers running rampant down there, just screwing the taxpayers left and right. Have you seen any road improvements around here lately that didn't take 6 to 8, 10 months to do and inconvenience the stuff inside of you? Anyway, so what Mr. Robinson did is he got this from the Solid Waste Department. It's called an FAQ list for MSW charge. Now, nowhere in this 2-page document is the MSW charge explained. What does it mean? Okay, it could mean a multitude of things, I guess. Okay, it says, and it was questions. I contract with a city-approved waste hauler today. Why do I have to pay this charge? Okay, well, why? Okay, I do not utilize City of Corpus Christi landfill to dispose of waste. Why do I have to pay this charge? Okay, and then it goes down the list. But here's the key down here. It says, can the MSW charge be waived? Whatever that means. No, city ordinance does not allow for the change or the charge to be waived. Now, what I want to find out, and nobody's provided this to Mr. Robinson, and other roofing companies have been after this. It's been on the public news, the local news here on several channels lately. But when was that ordinance voted on? And what specifically does it say about roofing materials? Okay? So I'm going to get to the bottom of that. This is just another ruse by your city to mess you around. And it costs businesses money, and the business is going to have to pass those charges on to the general public, folks. I mean, it's just that simple. You and I understand that and realize it. Okay? That's my timer making noise over here. It doesn't have a stand on it, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on this so I don't run it over and make my president of the POG 10 mad. Okay, now it says what types of construction waste is not accepted for disposal by the landfill. Hazardous waste as waste identified or listed as a hazardous waste by the administrator of the EPA. Well, I'm surprised they do that at all. Okay, I've seen some junk go out there. And then this is the same city that wanted to bring in Las Brisas Energy Center and kill 80 babies a year. Now, thank God that didn't go through, okay? And I'll talk about M&G and voestalpine and their problems around here in just a little bit. But I'm getting sick and tired of it as a taxpayer, folks. So why should I have to pay for a person to haul waste out of the city and pay for it out there? That it's in the contract, okay? They don't specify that. But why would we want to take a business that is producing tax money here in the town and providing a very serious and wonderful service to our taxpayers and have them penalized because they don't use the landfill, and we're just gleaning this money? And then I guess somebody downtown said, oh, well, that excess money is going to go into road repair. Well, you've been so derelict for so many years, ladies and gentlemen, that the roads stink. They really do. This place is a fourth world country as far as I'm concerned. But I can do one of two things. I can sit there and not say anything about it, or I can go raise hell and take care of it, because I ain't moving, folks. I'm happy right where I am at Del Mar College in the city of Corpus Christi, much to the dismay of all of these entities that have elected officials associated with it. Okay. Now, another thing we had a person that came in because we've had problems with the Texas Windstorm Insurance Association. TWILA is the acronym they call it. Okay, but this is an attorney, Mr. Kevin Baker, and what he did is he is upset, as many of us are, that the insurance company, the Windstorm in particular, is lowballing the appraisals and the damages and so forth, estimates of what it's going to take. So, and then the people show up for a free clinic with those clowns. I think it was in Portland. It may have been in Rockport. But then the insurance adjusters over there working for them show up with pistols on their side. Now, can you tell me what that's all about? Why would an insurance adjuster want to go over and help a bunch of people out and wear pistols to the event? I mean, open weapons, folks, and then have security written on the back of their t-shirt. I mean, can you tell me what in the world that's all about? Okay? And I do know I've got a lot of friends. Luckily, knock on wood, I was not hit by the hurricane. Okay, I was just right square 2 blocks from the border of it. And so I don't think I've got a roof problem. I'm going to have it done before the grace period's out. Just looked at to see if there's something I didn't catch. But I mean, I had a couple of small limbs down, but I was very, very fortunate in this. But the people north of me, all the way through Rockport and all the way up to Houston area, folks, they took it in the ear. I mean, that was a horrible storm. And then here we have the insurance company that they pay so much insurance to, lowballing them and saying, well, it's only going to take this much money, and we're just going to give you this much, and stick it in your ear, and just, maybe if that doesn't work in your ear, stick it up your left nostril. We're just going to do this anyway. Now, my hat's off to a group, Mr. Baker. He is taking people who are seriously being lowballed with this, and he will, he will take care of it. He's easy to find around here. I'm not advertising for the man. I'm just saying that my hat's off to him for going over there and telling the Taxpayers Association what the truth was and how to go ahead and figure out what your policy consists of, and do you need help or not. Okay? He did not say that he was in the business of soliciting that, and I had no inclination he was soliciting business. He's just a very fine gentleman. Now, here's a free clinic offered for Harvey victims. Now, this is going to air after that, I believe. Okay, this is on the November the 1st. Yeah, this will be a week after the fact. Okay, and it's going to be the Hurricane Harvey Disaster Response Legal Clinic. There are some people here. It's called the Association. Let's see. There is a local group of attorneys. It's called the Corpus Christi Young Lawyers Association. His name is Lewis Williams, is the president of that, and he is going to sponsor this along with, I think, a group out of San Antonio, the Young Lawyer Association, and the Community Justice Program out of for FEMA and so forth. So call these people up. Okay, one more time. That would be Lewis Williams, President of the Corpus Christi Young Lawyers Association. So if you weren't aware of this meeting, then I'm sure that those people will set up another one. And this was going to be held on Wildcat Drive in Portland on November the 1st, which is, you know, I mean, that's when I have to turn in this DVD for the next week. But I'm glad that somebody's taking care of these people, folks. You know, I mean, we need some people of substance like Mr. Baker and Mr. Williams and some of these other people to take care of our people around here. Because, you know, we've got a bunch of taxpayers that are ground into the dirt, okay? And then as a result of all this water and stuff around here, there's going to be mold problems supreme. The insurance companies in their infinite wisdom dropped any mold coverage unless you paid through the nose for it a long time ago. I know because I was tracked down by a bunch of people here in Corpus Christi, Texas, through my postdoctoral and graduate studies in toxic microbial products. Particularly, I did the mold toxins and so forth, toxicology of those, isolation, purification, and then, you know, a lot of those are past toxins. They are carcinogens, which means they are cancer producers, and some of them are teratogens, which means they will cause birth defects. So you do not need that stuff in your environment, and to be eating that, and then highly allergenic mold spores and so forth. So anyway, you know, my background's that, and when I was told by the state of Texas that if with a PhD, with dual majors in both biochemistry and microbiology, with an expertise in microbial toxins and the toxicology thereof of those and the production of them, that they'd have to take my resume and my transcripts and review those and see if that was comparable to a bachelor's degree in biology. So I told them where to stick it. I was not very polite with that, and probably shouldn't have said it, but if you know, I didn't bother to tell them, yes, I've had a bachelor's degree with majors in both chemistry and biology. So, I mean, what do you do with these morons at these state levels? Okay, so we've got Ingleside dealing with mold at city facilities. Yeah, you're going to find it, folks. You know, I studied that around here for a lot of years before the state decided they were going to put the put you insured people out there, the taxpayers, at risk. Now, another thing that's galled me, and I'm down to, let's see if I can read this thing, yeah, about 7 minutes. I wrote a letter to the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, Disabilities Rights Section, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act, goes under that group. And I'm just going to read it right quick and tell you what the city came back with, okay? And the state and everybody else. I will make the following statements as short and succinct as possible. I am the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association, Corpus Christi, Texas. At the last meeting of our board of directors, I was charged with informing you of the fact that the city of Corpus Christi, Texas is in total non-compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. I was also charged with informing you that your replies to the previous complaints from Mr. Jack Gordy, in which you do not have the time to investigate the valid complaints submitted, are despicable. There are many violations of the ADA codes and directives which puts our citizens at risk of potential harm. Therefore, I'm sending this information to the following entities. I sent it to the Department of Justice, to the ADA, the Civil Rights Division, Disability Rights Section. I got a letter back saying they don't have time to worry about Corpus Christi, Texas, that they have so many complaints they can't handle them all. Okay? All right. Then the VA Inspector General. I am all for veterans, folks. My dad was a highly decorated fighter pilot. He risked his life in 3 big wars, and then on top of that with some clandestine flights, I'm sure. And he was a marvelous man, a hell of a pilot, and he sacrificed his life. I'll tell you about him getting shot down during the Second World War and having to fight his way through about 70 days with the French underground shooting Germans as they were retreating, and then he was not captured, or they'd have hung him. Okay, I sent it to Donald Trump, our president, and I have got nothing back from President Trump. I sent it to John Cornyn, U.S. Senator from Texas. Heard nothing from him. Sent this to Blake Farenthold, U.S. Representative from Texas. Not a single word back. Juan Chuy Hinojosa, the Texas State Senator. Todd Hunter, Texas State Representative. Rick Spurl, who I've talked to this about with KRIS, I think he's putting something together. And of course the Caller Times totally ignores you at all times. Okay? Now, I got a response from the VA saying they couldn't do anything about it. And then the city of Corpus Christi wrote me back and said that they don't have to comply to that. It's still the same fine, but if I want to file a complaint as a disability person, they provided me the form. Now, our city attorney, Mr. Miles Risley, is probably one of the biggest jugheads I've ever met in my life. The man is despicable. He's got no heart. He does not give a damn about anybody in this city, particularly ADA, when he says that anybody that's disabled can go out in the street. If the sidewalk's encumbered, or go into parking lots around here and convenience stores and strip centers and shopping centers and so forth. And you know, the same goes for anybody that's got a stroller or whatever they're trying to get down the street. Okay, not only the disabled, but just the general public. So I ask you, Mr. Risley, are you going to pay the bill when one of these personal injury attorneys is suing you for a child killed and a mother killed pushing a stroller down a sidewalk where they have to either go into a busy parking lot or into the street? I'm going to hold you accountable, sir, and everybody on that city council and anybody that's associated with it. And I think people around here know me well enough. Now, I can't believe the Caller Times doesn't give a damn about it either. So, but they'll go and say Abel Alonzo had a passion. I will never, ever forget. And what he was in a wheelchair. He dodged all that stuff. I think he actually sued the city at one time for non-ADA compliance. And now we praise him, and you treated him like crap. Put him at great risk. And then opinion editor Tom Whitehurst ought to be ashamed of himself for putting this out. Blessed be the meek who protected the strong. Well, you're the strong, folks. Okay, Mr. Whitehurst, you've got a lot of influence around here. All you'd have to do is write one little editorial in the Caller Times and say we're sick and tired of ADA not being complied to. And why not, city fathers? Okay. But no, we're playing too many politics down there, and I don't think you give a damn either, Mr. Whitehurst. You know, I take the newspaper so I can have information to air these shows, this and South Texas News and Reviews. Okay? So I don't know what to tell you guys, but you're a bunch of bozos. But here's one about activist Abel Alonzo stood up for anyone who was being treated unjustly. We've got the entire ADA people, all of the handicapped people, and disabled in this town, Mr. Whitehurst, are in need and treated unjustly, and you're a big part of that. Otherwise, you'd be writing some articles. And then we have Greg Adams, a call to hire Texas veterans. I'm all for veterans, and that should go. He should be ashamed of himself for not responding to my request from Hinojosa and Todd Hunter for, you know, some type of a reaction to this. I don't know what rock they went and crawled under, but they do that. And then now it's time to employ people with disabilities. Angela King is CEO of Volunteers of America, Texas. Okay? So I'm going to contact that woman too, Angela King, and ask her if she'll join in. I know I'm going to all the veterans groups around here and stirring them up, folks. And if that's what it takes, then that's what I'm going to do, because I've got a big paddle and I don't mind using it. But I am fed up to my ears with you clowns down there at the city, Mr. Risley, whatever, whoever you are, for screwing things up. So anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've only got a couple of seconds left. A Beautiful Roses dedicated to Miss Lynn and Miss April 23. Most people know what that's all about. There's a cartoon that was published lately on the internet. It shows this Pinocchio-type nose on a guy with a resume standing there. And this is so typical of the resumes that are turned in for people that are running for mayor, city council, Del Mar College Board of Regents, and so forth and so on, and people that work at Del Mar College, some of those administrators. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let it run out. It's got about 12 seconds left. Be kind, take care, be well, and I'll be back later.